All right, and we're live. Dove, Jonathan, thank you guys for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, Roy. I'm a big fan of the Wolf newsletter, so it's really an honor to be here with yourself and Colin.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We've been obviously following you guys' journey. Colin even did a whole deep dive on it, which we got some amazing feedback from, and I'm sure you guys got some as well. But we wanted to chat because you guys have been doing a lot of things, very interesting things, from social media to this latest partnership that you guys signed. And I guess before we get into all that exciting stuff, you have already an exciting, or maybe not exciting, probably exciting as well, but more interesting story. You guys are four brothers, four co-founders. So I'm kind of interested how this whole thing came about. Was it one brother coming up with an idea, and then he's like, "Hey, I got this idea," pitching it to all the other brothers, and like, we should start this? Or did you guys kind of come as a family together and were like, we want to do something together as a family, and then that kind of came about? How did the whole thing come about?
Yeah, so we always knew, the four brothers, that we wanted to do something together. We wanted to work together. We wanted to have a business together. And then life kind of gets in the way. We all found ourselves at different jobs, at different schools in different countries, all working on our own things, when all of a sudden Dove called us in the middle of COVID, like in June 2020, when people weren't even sure if people will ever be congregating again at dog parks, if we'll ever be able to be together again. A lot of uncertainty at that time. And he had the great idea of the original iteration of DogPack, which I guess he'll tell you about. And now, thankfully, we're all four of us working together in Montreal and building this company together.
Yeah. So I was like he was saying, I was a dog walker before we started DogPack. I used to, take four or five, six dogs at a time, take them to like a secluded area, and let them all run off leash. That was kind of my gig. And it got to a point where people started seeing me around, with a lot of, and I would only take good dogs without like behavioral issues that got along with
Yeah.
other dogs. I would have to reject dogs sometimes, but point being, people would see me and they would take my number, and they would want to meet. They would want to bring their dog when I was there, so that, their dog could get all the energy out. And it got to the point where all the time I was getting texts, calls, "Where are you?" Every day, every afternoon, trying to stalk me so that they could kind of use me and my dogs that I took, you know, for their own benefit. And that got annoying. So that's where the idea came with the check-in feature, where like you could just check into a dog park, and it notifies everybody else that's either friends with you or following that park that you've just checked in.
Hmm.
So your dog could go play with, a dog that gets along with your dog, or you wouldn't go if it's a dog that your dog doesn't get along with. So that was the original idea, and then different features just snowballed from there.
And then, so you have this idea. This is 2020, right? COVID.
Yeah.
Do you and three other brothers, right? Are they all working? Do they have to quit their jobs? How do you convince your three brothers to stop whatever they're doing at the time and jump on board?
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I
So
go ahead.
we couldn't. We went for over a full year, all continuing to do our jobs and all continuing to be in school, the younger ones that were in school. And we just put in as many hours as we could on the side into Dogpack because we truly believed in the potential of this idea. We found an outsourced team in India because it was cheaper. That was all we could afford at the time. We were putting our own money together. Our wives were also telling us that we're a little bit crazy. Like, oh, I have to send another 5 grand to India now. They're going to develop me this new feature. And it gets expensive, it gets crazy, saving on some essentials to be building an app that you're not even sure if anyone is ever going to use. It hadn't been released yet. It was only released like almost a year and a half after we came up with the idea. So definitely it was a stressful and an uncertain time. And then we got an investment only a full year after releasing the app. So that was in late 2022. So even after releasing it, then we were still working, posting on Facebook, like Dov mentioned in one of his talks recently, our strategy. We would post in all kinds of Facebook groups. So I would get home from work at 6 o'clock and I would spend 2, 3 hours posting in groups on the way, on the train, on the way into work. I was messaging with the developers and trying to make sure they were set up for the day. And basically, it was getting really, really consuming our time. We were approaching different investors, and and then all of a sudden, actually, an investor approached us. So we had some good luck there, and they gave us a seed round of $1.2 million,
Wow.
which, yeah, it allowed the four of us to quit our jobs, and take pretty much either lesser or same salaries as what we were making. So we did that. It was the four of us still with our Indian developers. We worked for 2 full years, spending that 1.2 million, and more than half of it went into advertisements. The other, 600K went for four brothers to have salaries for 2 years, plus the Indian developers getting a good amount of money every single month because we were putting as much as we possibly could towards the developers to try to create a good product and to have a chance of a Series A. So even until today, when we got a Series A round in late 2024, we try to keep as much cash in the business as possible and hold on to as much equity and really, take modest salaries. And even our workers, we pay modestly and give them shares. So them having equity is something that aligns them with our mission, and it keeps everybody, fully like believing and motivated and aligned. So we all want to see the same result, and we all believe in DogPack, and that's what we've been doing since we got the Series A in late 2024. It allowed us to expand our office. We got an office altogether in Montreal, where Dove is right now. And there's about 15, 16 people that go in there every day. And we're really excited about what we're building at this point.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, that's quite a
Thanks.
journey.
Yeah.
That's the trickle. That's patience. Patience is a virtue, and you four brothers seem to have that, which is great. So congrats making it this far. So
Yeah,
to quickly
thank you.
recap, Dogpack essentially started as like a social curated way to like make sure there were people in a dog park that you actually wanted to spend time with, and you didn't run into like the massive snafus that we see with public dog parks. But now that's kind of evolved into finding pet friendly hotels or apartments or other businesses and services, which kind of leads into what y'all recently launched was a is it out yet, marketplace?
Yeah, it is. It's now it's
Okay.
available on the website. It'll be available on the app very shortly.
Okay, so now people have essentially a one-stop shop where there's like I think there's like what like there's thousands of businesses that are already listed on that like essentially directory where people can engage, get discounts, things of that nature. So that's kind of it's evolved into that now, which I guess is because it's free to download. I have the app. I've used it.
Nice.
There's a lot of stuff in Austin. It's kind of crazy. A lot of things that I didn't know about, which is cool. But so now like the monetization I'm sure is the big focus, and how you turn on the revenue machine. So it's free to download. So is this marketplace kind of your big revenue machine that you're focused on now?
It's yeah, so the marketplace is pretty much our first, V1 of monetization. We have many more like monetization ideas, like through travel experience. Like if you book a trip, say, and we would be an affiliate with a large company. I don't know if I could say the name, John, but basically we would
One
take
of
a
the biggest, if not the
yeah.
biggest travel companies, but we're just about to
Mhm.
announce it soon on social, once we sign the contract in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
I hear there's a newsletter that breaks all this type of news. You should talk to them.
definitely. We'll have to get you on the newsletter, Colin, if you're not. I think Roy, you're on it, if I'm not mistaken. Are you talking?
Yeah,
Are
Yeah.
you talking about your newsletter, or is he
I
talking?
am. I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Of
I thought he was.
course.
That was a joke. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was slow there. But we release once a month a newsletter with all of the dog pack updates. You know, like what we did the last month, user updates, all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, that's why. And we just sent one, so
Okay.
that's why I got
hmm
you.
Actually, I'll add you
Nice.
to that newsletter, Colin and Roy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write
Yeah.
that down to myself and get you guys on that.
All
Yeah.
right, so you have the affiliate play, which makes a lot of sense. I know, like, not that y'all are like Bring Fido, but tangentially related. That's, their business model and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Jonathan mentioned in the beginning with that seed round, spending a good chunk on advertising, right? So I'm sure that's a mix of paid and organic. And now you've kind of found yourself with a bit of a success with the organic strategy through social with your podcast that you've launched, which is what my deep dive was about, which was pretty phenomenal and
That was a
amazing.
great
And
piece.
thank you. And it continues to
That's
rip,
incredible.
and it's led into even getting signed with WME on this. And like, when did you? So wait, when did it actually first go live? Remind me, like the first time that you guys actually published it, the
Are you talking
podcast.
about like the videos that we
Yeah.
started doing? Well, we downloaded VO3. Jonathan was really pushing for it, to post AI videos.
I
And
think
at
it
the
was the
time,
last day of July, Dove,
yeah,
that you posted your first one, and it was with those two dogs, the corgis, sitting at the table.
right. And that
That was
didn't get it
after.
right. That didn't get
That
such
did
good
well.
response.
It did a
That one,
lot better than like your previous VO3 type of videos. So then
mhm,
you basically thought, okay, let's get these guys on a podcast, and
yeah,
That's
started to post the podcast videos.
so here we are 90 days later, and these AI podcast hosts have signed a deal with WME.
That's a short time. That's nothing.
That
hmm
might be like one of a
That might be a
record.
record. Yeah.
They must
Yeah.
have had like some kind of a tracker, or they must have some technology that they use to see which accounts are gaining a lot of followers quickly. And the agent that reached out to us, it also resonated with her personally as a dog mom. So she found the videos very relatable, and thought that there's a good opportunity. So what we're doing now with them is we created a pilot script, which is going to be like 20-minute episodes of something with this dog podcast related to it. It won't all be inside the studio. There's going to be a lot of different scenes, cutaway scenes, which we've been experimenting with. And especially now, VO 3.1 came out yesterday. We're excited to continue to produce high quality content, and we're pitching the idea to some really talented showrunners. We created a really nice deck for them about how DogPack is more than just an Instagram page, but it has a whole brand and trademarks, and an app and a website and different ways to monetize behind it. So hopefully we could get some of these showrunners excited and get them to team up with us, because we don't know really much about creating a TV show. We never did it before. We've watched a lot of TV, a lot of the cartoons, The Simpsons and Family Guy and King of the Hill type of shows, but we've never actually done it ourselves. So definitely would be great to have a professional come in and do this with us.
So you're thinking of doing an actual show on TV with this format?
So the way we were pitching it is to start it off on YouTube as a full, like, 20-minute shows once a week.
Got it.
And then if it catches popularity there, then we would push it to maybe a distributor like Netflix or HBO or someone that could get it to a wider audience.
And
Yeah.
then I'm so curious because we've, Colin and I have talked a lot about, I think everyone that does social, which is pretty much everyone, is thinking how they can utilize AI, and whether that's, I don't know, a dog breaking the news or a few other ideas that we've kind of had over time.
Right.
It's like, how do you transition that from a 30-second clip on Instagram to a full-blown show, with a script, with characters, with everything? Like, what are the stages for that? Or are you just still early stage, testing the social, testing like short form, and then seeing maybe
Yeah.
there's something we could do with YouTube and etc.?
I think well, the longest videos we've posted up till now is about 2 minutes long,
Okay.
apart from like compilation videos, like an actual story. But I think a good way to do that, Roy, would be like to kind of include flashbacks throughout the script. So like Goldie and Frenchie could be talking about, how they're, just as an example, how the mom never gives them treats after supper, and then there's kind of a flashback of where the mom is like actually giving them like a lot of treats and they're just
Mm.
complaining for no reason, like that kind of stuff. And you can get very creative with that. um, and that's kind of what we pitched to WME. We made a whole story with a whole background story with Goldie's mom, a whole background story with Frenchie's dad, and how we're going to put in flashbacks and have different guests on the show. Like it could also be like informational, like maybe a certain dog breed has a really rich history, for maybe he's royalty or something like that. And we could do a whole backstory of like that. Like that could be a whole episode in itself. And there's a lot of different
Yeah.
I got so many ideas running through my head right now.
yeah.
Like
Well,
we
that's
wanted
what's
to make it educational for sure, not to make it completely sci-fi, so that if there are kids watching it, or if it's going to be watched in 10 or 20 years, people will look back and be able to actually learn something from what we put out and not to just confuse people. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's the format of that you're speaking of. Yeah, it's like Family Guy has made a long run at that exact, kind of
Yes.
framework, which works really well because it keeps you very open and creative to like different things that you can flash back to, cultural references, topical relevance, things of that nature. What I guess, taking a step back for anybody who maybe hasn't seen the podcast, it's essentially you've landed on, there were some iterations in the beginning, but you've now landed on a golden retriever named Goldie and a French bulldog that's like brindled with a white spot,
Yeah.
named Frenchie, and they kind of just have these like very human POV but also dog POV, like funny tongue-in-cheek commentary on just like all the relatability, like you mentioned, the woman who reached out from WME. It's like there's a lot of relatability aspects, and you're just putting it behind these two adorable faces in a podcast studio. And now and how many followers has that netted you to date from starting that, or roughly
Since
that format?
since we started, between all platforms, close to 1.2 million new followers between all
And
4 or 5 of our main platforms. Yeah.
that's incredible. And what's cool now is like y'all have taken that format a step further, and now you have other like fairly well known or famous dogs like on the internet, whether you want to call them influencers, creators, whatever, viral dogs, and you've brought them on as guests on the podcast, and you do like even little clips like highlighting something that shows their personality or a moment that you want to make this little segment about, which I think is amazing. And it seems like you've already had quite a few of those kind of dogs on the show, and you've nailed their likeness. I always go back and I'm like, is this exactly what this dog looks like? And I'm like, oh my god, it is. Like, it's great. And I'm curious too, like I'm curious how that's been working out. Like, have people been reaching out, or have you been reaching out to them? I'm sure it's probably a mixed bag. So I'm curious how that has kind of come about. And then secondarily, like, how do you decide on a voice? Like, because this is essentially a dog that has already a following and, a fan base, if you will. And now you're actually for the first time, like, kind of giving them a voice. So I'm curious how that creative process works as well.
Yeah. Usually we, for the most part, will reach out to them. We'll whether we, make a nice little comment on their video, like, oh, you should, that their dog should be on the podcast. And then usually it gets a lot of likes, our comments, and then we'll DM them. And usually it's just a win-win for both sides. They get new followers, they get to be on the podcast. It's a free few 100,000 views for them. They don't have to do anything. We do all the work. We get their dog perfect. We send for their approval. We make the whole script. We send it to them for their approval. Once they approve the script and the mock-up photo, we launch it, and we haven't had any issues with that. For the voice, sometimes the dogs actually have specific voices that they use in their videos. So then the owner has to do some work. I send the script, and they send back them doing the voice recording, and I have to overlay it on the AI videos. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, if it's not like that, we kind of just describe a voice that we think would fit the dog, honestly. Yeah.
It's great. It's working super well. I'm curious, like, what is from like concept, whether it's with, I'm sure the partnering takes a little bit longer because there's more stakeholders involved in that process. But when you come up with like a segment or, an idea for what you want to post, like from ideation to actually publishing it, how long is that process? And then second follow up to that would be, walk us through your tech stack that you're using. I know you mentioned VEO3 and now 3.1. So be curious, like, how long it takes and what are the tools that you're using within that process?
Yeah, I mean, it takes, start to finish it. Because, I mean, you want to come up with a good script. You don't want it to be, probably the whole thing, like once you have the script and the mock-up, it doesn't take that long after to do it on the AI tools. I think it takes more time, like I would say, like just coming up with a really good script. Once you have the script, you can fly through it quickly, and it's gotten much better, the tools, even since we started. We're noticing, like, really every day, like, differences in the platform. It's like evolving so quickly, becoming
I
easier
think
and easier to
one
use.
funny point of talking about the script
Yeah.
is how, Goldie and Frenchie, they always roast the guests and kind of roast the owner too through that. And sometimes we get pushback, and the people, they want to change words or they want to change sentences, and then they send it back to us and they change the punchline. And it's like not funny at all anymore with that punchline. And we know the video is going to flop, won't get the shares, it won't get the likes and the comments with that punchline. So we have to kind of negotiate with them and be like, you're on the Goldie and Frenchie podcast. You're going to be getting roasted. We already told you this. And like the punchline that you sent us, no one is going to laugh at that. So, I mean, that's a good thing that we started to get the scripts approved and go through that process with them before sending them the video. It saves us a lot of time. I think there were a couple of people, Dove, that you fully created the video at the beginning, sent it to them, and then they wanted to change the script. You went through it again, wasted a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time like that, and it's good to first be able to explain them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all part of it.
But yeah, the tools, it's really mainly AI tools, and VO3 is the best. From what we've seen, we know Sora 2 just came out, and now it's available
Yeah.
for everyone. For a long time, it was invite only, so people were scrambling to get
Mm-hmm.
a code, which was pretty funny. We were also on the Reddit forum all day trying to get a code to come through, and it was like impossible to get one. Now we're on it, but people are complaining, which is why the app has such a low rating, even though it's obviously a great piece of technology and it's incredible, because they started to implement all kinds of content guidelines that really limit what you could do
Yeah.
with Sora. So If you'll upload a picture of a person and say, make this person walking a dog, they'll say, I can't do anything with pictures of people.
Wow.
And yeah, at the beginning, it was like Chat GPT at the beginning, where you could ask it how to break out of jail and it's going to tell you. But now there's so many content guidelines that it got,
Yeah,
it's a
you're
bit
gonna
of
have
a
to sit in
shame,
jail.
honestly, to see good technology get ruined by restrictions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I guess they're also trying to protect like celebrities, and because it was wild at the start. I mean, there was, you had Stephen Hawking going down a ramp and doing a
Oh my
flip
God.
on a
Saw those
skateboard
so
ramp. You
much.
had
but it's inevitable. People are gonna find ways around that. So it's
right.
just like, if it's not you, then someone else is either gonna come up with the AI tool that does this, or someone else is, I don't know, gonna find a loophole within even, ChatGPT or whatever it is, or Sora to do it. So eventually, I don't know, I think they're gonna have to find a way to label them instead of restrict them, because
Mhm.
restrictions on the internet, they don't really work. People find ways to work around it, but if you, I don't know, if you put some laws in place where people have to label, so that I know that it's, Stephen Hawking's not doing 720s on with his wheelchair. I'm like,
Yeah, those are
okay, like
great.
I know this is AI, because I'll sometimes I'll post just for fun, and I know this is AI, and I'll have comments of people thinking this is a real video, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
and this is now, so a year from now, 2 years from now, I mean, it's going to be indistinguishable for everyone.
Hmm. Yeah, I think even sooner, Roy. Like even now, I'm getting fooled a lot. So
Yeah.
imagine in a year or two.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
want
that's
to.
what makes it tough is that like it's a lot of this stuff has always been like derivatives or parody. Like you can always say that like I know X is full of like they explicitly state in the account. If it's like a Nancy Pelosi, they're like Nancy Pelosi parody account, like to
Hmm.
Mhm.
protect themselves. But I think where you get into gray waters now or murky waters is now that it's like indistinguishable. It's like, okay, we really have to find a way to explicitly inform people that this isn't, so and so saying this thing legitimately from, their own mouth. So there will be some new laws that come about it, but right now it's a lot of fun to just see the limits of the technology.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you don't want some fake Putin video starting World War III somewhere on the internet. But I
Right.
want to circle back to something Colin was asking, because, and again, I'm assuming you don't have, a background in AI, but there's a lot of people, and more so maybe in the pet industry, that are reluctant to get into AI for whatever reason. And whether they think it's more authentic to do it, by themselves or whatever. What is the, like, how long does it take for you, like you said, getting the script, which you said is kind of the bulk of the time, to then running it through AI? And then, what are some, I guess, if you could break it down for people to know, like, hey, this is actually like a huge time saver. This is just like Colin was saying
Hmm.
last week when we had the webinar. This is a thought partner, right? You don't have to like export all the work to this, but this is just a partner working side by side with you, and it can help you, cut your, or 10x your productivity and cut your workload by whatever percentage.
Hmm.
So, what is the time process for you to kind of do these videos, and yeah, how do
Well,
you?
I think when it comes to the time, like it kind of depends. Sometimes we'll post an 8-second video with a quick joke, a quick punchline, a quick laugh, and that could be made in a couple of minutes. If you once you have the idea, you put in the script. It's very quick. But then sometimes there's videos we put a lot more effort into, like we did one with a police dog where it was a couple minutes, and it went through his whole story of
I think I
being
saw that one.
yeah. So it depends. I mean, the longer ones take longer. You got to put more effort into those, but I
Yeah,
mean, like a
and
2 minute video, yeah, maybe an hour and a half it could take of time to put it all together with the script and then with the VO to go. Sometimes you'll do a prompt, it doesn't come out good, you got to redo it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's not.
but
You can
what
definitely get a lot more
I,
done with. Yeah,
I would
John.
just say what's funny is that we're actually not working less hours. Like, yeah, AI saves us time, but we're still working our 10, 11-hour days. So it's like technology keeps on improving. They're saying it's going to save everyone time, but we're still working just as hard. We're just, I guess, doing more with it. But everyone is doing more, so the bar is so much higher. Like you can't go on Instagram and post a picture and expect it to get 1,000 likes because it's a
Hmm.
really nice picture and it has text on it with word art or whatever it is. Like the bar is so much higher. And also, Dove, I think you should mention how you don't use AI for everything. Like for your paid ads, you're going to get UGC creators. And I think there it would be wrong to kind of trick people to show, someone walking their dog and saying, hey, I just discovered this new park and actually make that an AI character. And Dove, you could say more about this, but we've tried to run some ads and the platforms don't even really show those videos. They'll be like, no, this is just getting such bad engagement. We're going to show your other ads instead. But then we'll post one with real people, which we work every day with UGC creators in different languages to make ads for us. And we pay real people to do it around the world. And those are the best ads. So I think there is still an element where you could see that it's a real
Hmm.
person and that imperfection is starting to become actually a good thing, whether it's someone's post on LinkedIn, if there's a small spelling mistake, or if there's a grammar mistake, and that actually tells the reader that it's not AI that generated the post and it was just copy pasted. So definitely there's still a value to showing humans on the screens.
Well, there's also a guy, I forget this guy's name, but he's like he does food recipes, and he will intentionally say, let's say if it's tzatziki, he'll say it like, "This is tazazaki" or something, like intentionally say it wrong each time, and just the comments just flooded. So he gets all these comments just by mispronouncing the ingredient on each video. I'm like, that's kind of genius, actually.
But yeah, that is. But I think another reason why these videos picked up like at the start is because we weren't because like I said, we tried testing with other types of AI videos, like maybe there was one with like a moose, coming to someone's door and the dog like barking at it, and people knew it was AI, and they're like almost like we're trying to trick them. And then they would
Hmm.
call us out. We had people even commenting, "Oh, I'm unfollowing you guys because this is AI slop," that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then with the podcast, it's like obviously dogs aren't actually talking. We're not trying to trick anyone. We're just trying to make enjoyable content. So I think that's where people kind of like are negative if you're trying to sort of like make it look real when it's not. If that
Yeah, I
makes
think
sense.
that's a
Yeah.
good distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, like even scrolling through the comments, which I'm curious how y'all landed on a golden retriever and a Frenchie. I know they're popular breeds, and maybe
They're
that's the answer.
they're the two most popular breeds
Yeah, okay,
according to
that's
our dog pack statistics of dogs that signed up. Those
nice. So you use
yeah.
your own
So
data.
it's like
That's incredible.
so
Because
it's
it's
like
like people are like, "Oh, I love it when Goldie like taps his paw or Frenchie laughs this certain way." It's
hmm
what's crazy is that it is AI, but people love the subtleties. It's
hmm
like the way they throw their head back when they laugh in a certain video, or like I think one was like Goldie was getting like a bath and was like,
right.
"If I shake, we both lose."
Yeah.
And it was like the little paw tap, and people were like commenting just about the little paw. It's incredible to me that not only is it AI, but they love the like
Little things.
tiny little things that we love in our pets as well, which was kind of an interesting thing that I came across. I was just like, oh my gosh, like even the subtleties in this AI, like people are really picking up on, and
hmm
like mentioning the Frenchie and Goldie like by name in all the comments, and like, and I don't know, it's just like an outpouring of like positivity, which I think is super cool. So I'm glad that you guys are like, I mean, turning it into a pilot, like potentially on a show. I mean, of course, starting with the YouTube series is like a massive extension of this, which is cool, and even the format changes that you've made now is cool. And so I'm curious, and maybe you guys are figuring this out. as you're kind of like building the plane as you fly it, so to speak, is like, is this going to be a whole nother revenue model for you guys? Like you're treating it as like its own media platform, or is this ultimately trying to drive people to sign up on the app, and then that's like kind of the big conversion piece for you? Because I don't know if you've monetized this new format and channel just yet, outside of like what you kind of alluded to with like pitching to showrunners and stuff. But yeah, curious kind of how you see this fitting into the overall business model.
That's a good question. Something that the investors also asked us when we showed signs of excitement, like, is this not a distraction? How are we actually gonna make more sales in the marketplace or get more people to book travel with this? Like, how is this gonna help us? So one way it already started to monetize is on Facebook, just with the content monetization there. Our YouTube should be approved for content monetization this week once we hit the 3,000 long watch hours in 365 days. So, but those are small monetization things. And you're talking about app downloads, which honestly we have seen an uptick, but it's very hard. You could get 10 million views on a video, and you might notice like an extra 100 organic downloads that day, just as a ratio. But if you're getting, 500,000 views, you might say, okay, we got an extra 50 organic downloads today, this many from paid ads, this many we got, it's this much more. But Dove was talking a lot about brand awareness. So we put a watermark on each video, the DogPack watermark, and
That watermark is getting smaller and smaller. Yeah.
you keep making it smaller.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the brand awareness, I think, is right now the biggest win for us. It's just getting people to see the DogPack channel, to follow. And we've done a couple ads with Frenchie and Goldie to download the app and them pushing DogPack. But as you guys know, from all your talks with marketing people, the second that a user, and even from your own personal scrolling, right, when they realize it's an ad, they scroll away like as fast as they possibly can. Like the second that skip ad button pops up, they're clicking it. The second they realize that they're trying to be sold something, they're scrolling away. So that's why we haven't promoted DogPack too much in it. But for now, I mean, getting exposure from you guys, being featured in Bloomberg Business Week. You guys actually featured us before Bloomberg Business Week, so kudos to you on picking up on the growth of DogPack. And just having this type of visibility is great for us, and it's fun for us, which is also important. It's exciting. We love to watch the videos. We had one of our 4 or 5 investors that messaged us, and he said, my mom loves these videos. She didn't even know that it's you guys that are making them. She watches them every day. She's a dog person and she adores these videos. So there are these small benefits that come out of it. But it's not making us millionaires at this point, but we're hoping to be able to create more great contents together. And it is a lot of fun. And when someone asks me what I do for a living, I could just say I make memes with my brothers, and that's like, know.
Memes make millions.
No, I mean, that's great. Like, and like we covered earlier, like this has been happening for 90 days. So it's like there's a million different directions you can take. You now have a new partner behind you with WME. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of avenues to explore. But I could totally see how it's hard to like want to push a plug or a direct CTA into a video of like, hey, by the way, like, you love that joke, you're gonna love this app. It's kind of hard to
Right.
put that in there, but it is cool. Like you've done one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, was just build distribution through this format. So you have a lot of eyeballs, you have a lot of engaged fans and stuff like that. So I think like as a standalone media entity, which it seems like you've already again explored with the idea of like a pilot episode and talking to showrunners, which is kind of like the long tail play. I think there's probably a lot of other creative ways where brands or other people who would like to which you're already doing, you know, for free, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views and followers. But I'm sure there's other creative ways, you know, that you could use that media and that distribution to like bring in some dollars that can fuel your other traditional efforts, like running paid ads on Meta and things like that. So just know that you've done the heavy lifting and continue to do it by building that distribution, which is hard, which a lot of people are trying to do. So
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, a few companies we spoke with, they were impressed with how many followers they have. So it is something that they look at. And like one company reached out to us asking us to advertise their product, and it was a shock collar. I won't say which one, but we weren't interested because it's too controversial. And one thing we want to stay away from is politics and religion, and just anything that people have very divisive views about. So it's funny because you guys recently wrote a piece about a streamer that gave their dog a shock with the shock collar, and his audience didn't like it. So it kind of validated our idea that we should not be promoting maybe something that's going to divide the dog community, um, and to have that on the podcast. So we want to keep it, with no swearing, with jokes that are funny for kids and for adults, educational. Yeah, pretty much. And like you mentioned, that scene with Goldie in the bath, that's considered a cutaway scene that we're
mhm.
planning to do a lot more of those, um, in the pilot script that we sent. So it's going to be like maybe 30% in the studio, 70% out of the studio.
That's cool. Yeah, you should just do you should just have like, you should even talk to like a non-pet brand and just have like a can of Coke or something sitting on the desk
Mhm.
with Frenchie and Goldie talking. But like, yeah, there's a lot of avenues.
100%.
Yeah,
I
that's a
totally
good
get
idea.
the I totally get the divisiveness because like, you know, pets are very similar to children in the way of like people have very defined values of like how to and how not to do things, whether that's positive reinforcement training, uses of other tools like prong collar, shock collars, things of that nature. So it's almost like if you pick one of those, people are going to try and put you into a bucket. So, but if you stick with like, you know, which I think what y'all are doing now, which is great, you're sticking to like culturally relevant things, viral videos, having them on as guests. It's like a little bit of education, a little bit, like a lot of bit of entertainment. I think that has a lot of long legs and, you know, durability. So it makes sense. And I'm sure there will be opportunities that kind of natively present themselves that make a lot of sense for you guys.
Yeah, I hope
But
so,
yeah,
man. Hope so.
What's
we'll keep an eye out. We'll definitely be pitching you guys wherever we can.
Yeah, if you have anyone that wants to come on the podcast, then we'll be happy to consider that and
Absolutely.
get them on.
what's and you, either one of you can answer this, but it's two
Tough.
questions. What's one big benefit of working with all your brothers, and then what's one difficulty working with three other brothers? And again, either one of you or
Well,
both.
I could say the benefits, you could say the non-benefits maybe, but the
You could say
benefit
them
is,
both.
yeah, I mean the benefit is definitely that is the trust factor, where when you have business partners and you don't have to worry um, even 1% about anything, you know, like trust related. Um, we know everyone exactly what we're doing. We grew up together, so it's a big advantage, you know, in to be able to work with, you know, the four of us. Um, you know, there's like even stories where, you know, like founders, you know, they're not related, they're just maybe friends, and you know, one maybe didn't work as hard one day, the other one didn't work so hard the next day, and then they're like you know, they're fighting over maybe titles, who wants to be CEO, who wants to be this. So I mean, with us there's none of that. um and I think, I don't know, what's something that's not good,
Like,
John?
for example, when we started the company, we didn't have to spend any money on legal. We just said, okay, we're four brothers, we each get 25%, and let's start doing this until we get the seed round, and then we could formalize stuff after that. But we didn't need to spend anything on legal until then. And a difficulty is, if you're four brothers in the same city, then maybe you'll see each other once a week and it will be for a fun activity to go hiking or to go play, sport together, to go see a movie, to go get a beer, something like that. But now we're seeing each other pretty much every single day in the office. So it's kind of like we're not like making that effort to once a week go and to catch up and to go do something fun together. So most of our interaction really is around work. Even when we are going to get a beer together, the conversation inevitably turns back towards work because we're doing the same thing. And, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a difficulty because we're all mature enough to just realize it and make the most of it. But yeah, that's maybe one thing. But other than that, I mean, if you have the chance to work with a brother or a really, really good friend, someone that you completely trust, and I think it just makes work more enjoyable. And you could obviously picture the opposite, that if, you have to work with someone that you don't like, then that's a lot of reason why some people leave their jobs or they're not happy at their job. So definitely, it plays a big factor, and also the people that we hire, and we really have a close relationship with them, and we do also fully trust them, and we do treat them like brothers and sisters, and it's just important for us not only how productive someone is, but how their attitude at work. We want people with good attitudes that are fun to be around, and it's something that schools and business schools they don't necessarily teach, but it's a tip that a friend gave me when I was going for interviews when I came out of university. It's like you're not just trying to prove to them how much you know or how much you could do this job well, but you also want to show that you could get along well with people and that you're pleasant to be around, and that's a big part of working and surviving in the workplace. Yeah, I'm the oldest, so that's why I got the title of CEO.
Truly CEO. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
they gave me that title. Dove is the second oldest, so we're basically between the ages of 26 to 34.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So whenever we have something like apply for some, you know, project with startups and stuff, we'll use the youngest brother because we know that startups, they're always looking for young people. So we'll say, oh, I'm a 26-year-old founder, and it might be
Yeah.
more interesting for them than a 34-year-old founder. So we try to leverage it to our advantage, the different ages that we have.
Smart.
Yeah, like we recently applied for the C100. It's a great Canadian organization, the biggest one, startup community. Only I think 100 get in, and they have all the big, like people working in tech companies that are part of it. Canadians, whether they're living here or not, that could give you advice and connections and stuff. So we're hoping to be able to get into that. It's very hard to get into, and we had to do a video thing, so I said, Arya, you go do it. And if we get in, then yeah, you got to go visit them in San Francisco or something and have, I don't know why it's there, and have a conference together. So Arya would go do it. Better to send the young one when it comes
Yeah.
to that stuff.
How
Yeah.
is the startup scene in Montreal?
Dove?
Um, I mean, I don't think there's that. I'm not quite sure, honestly. I know there's us. I focus a lot on us on DogPack, but other companies, I'm not sure.
No, I know there's a
Cool.
few. There's a few. I went to a Founders Club intro dinner. They were starting a Montreal branch. It's a pretty cool organization, and I met a bunch of founders that are here from Montreal. There's Transformer Table, there's Upcounting, which is like a startup for accountants. There's this guy that was making this machine for drinks for the office that makes all kinds of different drinks, an actual hardware company. So there's obviously the king, which started here, Shopify, and that's Canada's biggest company by market cap.
I
Yeah.
think
And Harley
technically,
Finkelstein is
I
from
think their
here.
headquarters are in Ottawa. Shopify,
Oh, are they?
I think so.
Okay.
But the one of the main founders, yeah, he's from Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess final one for me. Like you said, you started out with one thing, and then you guys have kind of expanded to, pet-friendly hotels and insurance and the marketplace, lost and found, blog posts. You kind of go-to resource. So knowing that that is kind of the end goal to be this go-to resource for pet parents, are there any other things in the pipeline for the next, few months or years that you're excited about?
Yeah, there definitely are. So service providers is something that we're working to partner with the biggest company that provides service provider matchups. So we're honestly in talks with them and hoping that we could white label their service providers onto our map and onto our platform.
Hmm.
So I think you guys know who I'm talking about. If we're able to get that done, obviously we'll announce it. And there's also insurance, which is a huge market and it's a growing market. As you guys know, only a few percent of pet owners in North America have it. But if
Yeah.
you would ask 95% of people with a dog, like, would you spend 20 grand if, God forbid, you needed to on your dog and it meant that you're going to go 20 grand into debt and have to pay it off? And most of them would just say yes. So it's like vets are getting more and more expensive. People are getting more attached to their dogs. So they're willing to spend the money, even if it means that they have to go into debt. So I think insurance is like a no-brainer. It's almost like owning a car. Like you buy a brand new car off the lot, you don't want to go drive a brand new car without insurance because no one wants to take that loss. Um, so insurance is definitely a big one. And the marketplace we see as a long-term revenue engine for us. The travel is something we hope to announce very soon. Then there's the service providers and there's the insurance, but with the insurance, we're talking to a few partners, and we don't want to just do like a come get a quote. So we're thinking of kind of a wellness center where it also
Mhm.
includes insurance, but a few other things like televet and other stuff bundled together to try to make a unique offering where it's not just come get a quote from 10 different providers. I'm going to get a few dollars from each provider. Because there are companies that have tried stuff like that, like there's one that recently declared bankruptcy, as you guys know, that also was focused on service providers, but then they tried to diversify into all kinds of different things near the end. And basically trust is the number one thing for us from the user. We don't want people to have a bad experience on DogPack because that could really affect a business and it's hard to recover from lack of trust. So that's more important for us than revenue right
Very
now.
true.
It's making sure people trust us, and that's really what we're working on.
Um, Anything else, Colin?
No, I think that's pretty good. If there's anything to sign off with, I'm always curious. It doesn't have to be within your own space. Meaning like, all the things you just touched on that Dogpack is approaching, but I always love to hear what people think in the industry, like what's a big hot take or where they think things are going. Like my big thing is like I feel like, in the next few years, where all the pet owners, especially dog owners, are going to have like some kind of dashboard for their pet, where it's going to be like, they all have wearables are coming out, like, and they're getting much better, and they're making inferences on pain scores, like feelings, things of that nature. So it's essentially going to be like a mint.com, but for your pet, where it's just got all of like, here's what you spend every month. Here's all your dog's vitals. Here's the next time they need to go to the vet. Like all this stuff to be able to passively, um, essentially monitor your dog and kind of lean into the preventative health. But I'm always curious if there's any hot takes or things that you think that most people can't see happening that are going to happen in the pet space.
I actually agree with you on that the wearables are getting a lot better, and there needs to be a place to manage everything in one place. I spoke to someone recently, and he was telling me that in 5 years, everyone is going to be walking around with either Apple Vision Pro or Meta AI glasses, and it's going to be doing everything. Like you look at your dog lying down in your living room, and it's going to tell you if they lie like that, there's an extra X% that they're going to develop arthritis in 5 years, so you should prevent them from lying down like that. Like to bring it to the next level, the type of health for dogs.
Hmm.
But I'm not
Wow.
really sure if everyone is going to wear those type of glasses in 5 years. But the
Just
tech
adding more to my
companies,
daily anxiety.
I was gonna
It's just
yeah,
say,
like
can you imagine?
all these problems every day. Oh, your dog's drinking too much water. That could be
Hmm.
XYZ. Great,
I,
thanks,
I was
Meta.
going to mention something probably similar to that, John, that basically, I think there's already companies trying to do it. Obviously, everybody loves their dog, but trying to come up with some kind of a pill that you give your dog that will just make them live longer. So maybe that's
Yeah,
something that we'll see
I mean,
soon.
yeah, they're literally working on that right now. Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
might become like the new norm that like no, dogs don't live till 13, 14. They live till 17, 18. That we might get an extra few years with them. And I
I mean,
think
we're not far away from
and
that.
it's the
Yeah.
same with humans. I mean, we used to have a much shorter lifespan, and it
yeah,
just seems to be going higher and higher every year for humans as well. So I think that we'll start to see that with dogs also.
yeah. I
I
agree.
agree.
There's a big effort behind that, which would be fantastic. I don't think anyone's against that.
No.
All
yeah.
right. Well, appreciate your time today. This was great. Dove, Jonathan, I know you both are active on LinkedIn. Are you active anywhere else where people can connect with you?
Mainly LinkedIn, and then Goldie and Frenchie speak for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn is my go-to as well.
All right. Well, this was great. Yeah, we'll be sure to kind of link everything, but go follow these guys on LinkedIn. Go check them out on social as well. You guys on TikTok or is just LinkedIn? It's just Instagram. My
TikTok,
bad.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook is a big one. We just passed 200K followers there.
Nice.
If anybody is
YouTube.
still using that, then go follow us on Facebook.
Still a few billion using it. Yeah.
It's
I
official
think
DogPack, right? On all of
I
them.
I love the marketplace on Facebook. That's my favorite feature there. I actually bought my car off of someone on Facebook Marketplace, so
Oh yeah.
still using it. Yeah.
All
Amazing.
right. Well, give them a follow. We appreciate your time, and yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much,
Thanks a
guys.
lot, guys. We appreciate you a ton, and we wish you continued success with the Woof and everything that you guys are doing. It's very exciting. And thank you again for having us on the show.